So amazing because we are going to talk about signs that he's the one. And it's a little bit of a trick title, but hear me out because if you are dying to know if he's the one or not, you need to watch this video. All right. So if you are wondering if he is the one and you want to know what are some of the signs, then today's live is going to be all about that. Hello, Tony. Hello, Patricia. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, everyone here on YouTube and Facebook. We are going to talk about 3 things to look out for to know if he's the one. Now, again, like I said at the opening of this video, it's a little bit of a trick title, but we're going to dive in. Okay. So let's start with sharing with me, as always, where you are joining me from. I'm wearing my most summery jumper because suddenly it got summer. This is what happens in Toronto. It's like snowing, blizzard, like cold, freezing, rain, like icy. And then the next day, it's like 26 degrees, whatever that is in Fahrenheit. It's hot. It's like, I don't know, like I want to say like 80. It's maybe more. I don't know. I'm just doing quick math. It's gorgeous here. So I'm super happy. All right. So just now that everybody's come in and has shared with me where they're from, I'm going to dive in to the signs that he is the one. So I'm sorry to burst your bubble. Hi, Ashley. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but although there are indications that he is a good fit, potentially, that you're attracted to him, you like him, you never know he's the one until you get to know him. I know that's a boring answer, but it's true. So the only way to know is time. And most of us do not give anything enough time to know the outcome, especially in relationships. We want to jump to the finish line before we even know someone. And, no matter what, there are problems that can come up, but certainly way less problems and way less red flags when you wait and you get to know someone than when you, my dog is like being so loud. He's leaving though. Then when you actually, when you wait, then when you just jump in and just go for it with your hormones and hope for the best. Who has done that? I certainly have. Who has done the thing that I just described? Going all in early, hoping for the best in a relationship, and then figuring out that, oh, there were red flags all along, or this guy's not a good fit, or I was looking at his potential, but not his real personality and the real everything that he is about. I remember one of my main relationships. All I was in love with was his potential for 5.5 years. I'm embarrassed to say, but this is what that means, right? I met him. I was desperate to be loved because I had just been left by my husband. And I was desperate to be loved. And I met this guy and I saw his potential and I was in love with his potential in a very anxious attachment way for 5.5 years until I finally broke free. But the beauty of that is I learned a lot during that time. And that's actually when I became a relationship coach, because I did a ton of trainings. I broke free from my own shackles and my own habits, and didn't do that anymore after that. This is where I developed abundance dating, which is where you date multiple people at the same time. This is when, a few years later, I met Jerry. And when I met him, he wanted to go all in, all at the same time. And I continued abundance dating. I continued to pace myself very, very differently than I have ever in the past. And look how this has turned out. So I'm still just on number one, but this is the thing. You need to allow time. You need to allow someone to show themselves, and you need to allow yourself to be seen by the other person in all of who you are. Because we all always put our best foot forward at the beginning, and even not at the beginning, even like as we're going along, right? It's only when you really see someone deal with adversity, like their parent gets sick or their ex-wife is withholding the children or something, and you see them deal with it in a way that feels good to you, then you know, okay, like check, here's some potential. Or, something comes up about somebody in their life and they badmouth them. That's probably a little bit of a red flag, right? Or maybe he's never badmouthed anyone, and this one person is the only one. Okay, so maybe give him a chance. Like, this is getting to know people. You need to really get to know people and how they respond to adversity. Okay. So you might ask, how much time? How much time do you need to give it to really know if he's the one? Well, unfortunately, I don't have an answer for that. It depends. If you're an early attacher, like I was in that relationship, I was so clingy. I was so, and not clingy like hanging onto his feet as he's leaving the door, but like very, very underlining clinginess, like very hidden. It could have looked like love, right? I was busybodying myself with taking care of him. That was clingy and neediness. I was needy for him to love me, but it looked like me giving. Okay? So, how much time do you need, especially if you're an early attacher or an anxious attachment person? Hi Birgit, hi Laro. Some of these Instagram names are not actual names. So if you're an early attacher or an anxious attacher where you cling easily, or where you kind of jump the gun, like you want to get married and have babies like after the first date. I'm exaggerating, but like some people are even like that. Or you love them, or he's the one after the first date, right? In retrospect, you might. Some people say, I knew the first time I met her or met him. And that can be true. But if you're an anxious attachment style person, you don't know. Your anxiety is attaching to that person. So stop it. To get different results, you're going to need to stop it. And you won't know he's the one. You are not going to know he's the one. And this is where I urge you to abundance date, especially when you like someone, because you will know he's the one once he stands out from the crowd, once he asks you for exclusivity, once he shows you he wants to move the relationship forward, once he is indicating that he thinks that you might be the one over time. Men are much slower with this kind of thing. We are much quicker. Of course, there are exceptions, like don't come down my throat now that you had a partner once who was a man who wanted to move quicker than you. It's fine, but generally women are wired for connection. Women are wired to pair bond. Men are too, but men are first wired to procreate, and that's different than pair bonding. So procreation is sex. So men are wired for quick sex and then maybe emotional connection, and women are wired for quick emotional connection and then maybe sex. So you got to work with those impulses, right? So I'm not saying give him sex instead. What I'm saying is pace yourself with the emotional attachment. Just pace yourself, be aware. That's all, right? And abundance date other people, especially if you like someone. And the sex piece for him, if you continue to show up in this dating relationship and he is starting to feel things for you and you have fun times together and he wants to see you again and he is building emotional connection to you, then the sex piece can come in. Doesn't mean, and this is a whole other topic, right? It doesn't mean that he's then the one. Okay. You can't say, I had sex with him, so now he's the one. Although biologically, often our bodies think they're the one just because we've now connected in that way with someone. So we got to be so, 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 so careful. So when you are starting to really get attached to someone and you really want them to be the one, and you're like, how do I know he's the one? Just start dating more people. Now, if he asks you for exclusivity, and I always emphasize it has to come from him, because who wants to be in a relationship with a man where you forced him to be exclusive, or where you don't know if he is being exclusive with you because you asked him to be or because he wants to? But when you wait for him to ask you for exclusivity and for him to move the relationship forward, you know without a shadow of a doubt that he wants it. You know, Jerry and I just recently got engaged a month ago. I'm not wearing my ring right now. It's being sized. Unfortunately, I feel totally naked. But we got engaged, and I wanted to be engaged a lot sooner than he was ready for or he wanted. And part of that was my wanting to so badly made him not want it. Men don't want to be trapped by the things that we demand. Men want to think it's their idea and want it to be their idea. Men want to want us, but they don't want to want someone who is demanding a man to step in. So here, how do you deal with that? If a man isn't stepping in, you move on. You can't make a man do something he doesn't want to do. Have you ever tried? It has never worked in the history of mankind. Okay? It has never worked. I mean, maybe you can force a man to do something. I'm not saying you can't, but it hasn't ever had a positive outcome. I'm telling you. Right? So, force yourself to abundance state. Force yourself to take care of yourself. You know, in my case with the engagement, we had talked about it. I trust him like completely 100%. And he had told me that he also wants us to get married eventually. And soon eventually, not like eventually in 20 years, soon eventually. And that's all I clung on to in order to remember, because don't forget off what a man says in most cases. Okay, in most cases there are liars, there are men that are not in their integrity, they're not the masculine men. Okay, the good high quality masculine men, they say what they mean and they mean what they say. So don't interpret what he's saying. If he's saying one day I would like to get married to somebody, don't then say to yourself, oh, he wants to get married to me, and try to finagle your way in for it to be you, because that's not what he said. Jerry said to me, I want to get married to you eventually soon, and I don't want to be pushed. He said that. So my job was to lean back, take care of myself, and trust. And it came, it happened. Okay. So for you in the dating world, how much time do you have to give to know he's the one? As much time as it takes, unfortunately, and force yourself to abundance date. Now, before I move on to the next point, come to my event. It is a free event. It is an interview show called You Deserve More 10 Days to Create the Life and Love You Want. It is an epic show. Once again, all of my shows are epic, where you can, the link will be below. You can click it, you can sign up, just put your name and email address, and you're going to start getting emails starting April 24th, 2023 in your inbox with these interviews. I'm currently doing the interviews pre-recorded, and they're going to be released 2 every day starting April 24th. So this is going to be all about how to shift your mindset, how to attract what you want, manifestation, like all the things that, breaking through barriers and blocks that you have in your mind about what you deserve. So this is going to be an amazing show with 20 experts. And yeah, sign up below. Okay, the link will be below. All right. So how do you develop enough knowing about him to try the direction of him being the one, right? It's time. So stacking moments together where he builds interest in moving things forward and asks you for exclusivity. So you can be building moments together with multiple men at the same time. This is what I was doing when I met Jerry. I was dating multiple men at the same time and he won out. He won me. I didn't win him. I mean, I did too, but he won me because I was dating multiple people. And this is so healthy because it will create moments with different men that stack for each of those relationships, and the cream will rise to the top. May the best man win. Instead of dating one person at a time, creating moments, maybe it fizzles out. You're not sure. You want to, see how it goes. You want to see where it goes. It takes months, maybe a years, maybe 5 years, like my ex relationship that was so bad. Um, and then you're back to square one. If you date multiple people at the same time and you stack moments with multiple people, it's not so hard to let one go, add another one in. Meanwhile, you have your core three, for example, that you're stacking moments with and getting to know. And then one day, one of the men is going to ask you for exclusivity, and you get to feel if that feels good for you. And if it does, then all the other men can fall away and you can pursue getting to know each other even deeper. So once you're exclusive, give the relationship enough time so that issues can come up and you can see how you deal with these issues together. So in the honeymoon phase, never get engaged, never have a baby, all these things that we do so quickly because we're going on hormones can still happen. Just wait until you see how each other deals with adversity and how you deal with problems in the relationship. I remember very, very, very early on with Jerry and I was like ready to end it because there was just one tiny thing that he was doing. It was like, it wasn't during COVID times. I think it was like coming home after a day of work, washing his hands. I really wanted him to wash his hands. I come from the medical industry, I was taught that every time you enter a room, you wash your hands. Every time you exit a room, you wash your hands. Never mind like coming home, right, from the outside world, washing your hands. And now with COVID, of course, that everybody is doing that. But in the medical world, we were all doing that for years and decades and forever, right? And so I just thought it was a deal breaker. And I talked to my friends about it. And I was like, yeah, I think it's a deal breaker. I'm going to break up with him. And they're like, just talk to him. Just talk to him. Just ask him. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? He doesn't do it. And then you can still break up with him. So I go to him. I'm like, oh, I just want to, like, I need to talk to you about something. Like, there's something, and I'm not sure how to bring it up, whatever. He goes, just tell me. I told him, and he laughed. He laughed in my face, not because it's a ridiculous request, but here's what he said. It's so wonderful because I could have broken up over this with him. Okay. He goes, so what you're saying is all you want me to do is wash my hands when I enter the home. Like, and you were going to break up with me. And I have the choice now to be with this amazing, gorgeous, stunning, whatever he always goes overboard about what he feels about me, woman, and wash my hands, or not wash my hands, or still wash my hands, but lose this opportunity to be with this woman. Duh, it's a no-brainer. Like, obviously, I'm going to do it. And so that was really, really early on, and the rest is history. But so it takes time for these little issues to come up and for you to learn how to communicate them and learn how you work through these things. So that was a huge check mark on his part, of course, right? For me, like, I was like, wow, he really dealt with that well. He really dealt with that well. And I really appreciated that. Okay, I have already been talking for 19 minutes. This goes so fast. All right, so this is how you know if he's the one. If you are on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. I am trying to get to also here. I'm trying to get to 2,000. I'm at almost 1,900. I need like just a little over 100 more subscribers to hit 2,000. Help a sister out. If you liked this live, please hit the subscribe button so you will be notified every time I go live, which is Thursdays, by the way, every Thursday. All right, go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Okay, love you guys. Bye for now.